Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us in this press conference. We are the Right to Know Right Now Coalition. We're the co-conveners of the Right to Know Right Now Coalition, an independent, non-partisan coalition of civil society organizations, private sector groups, and individuals
Recording in progress.
that advocates for the passage of a Freedom of Information legislation and the promotion of FOI practice in the country. As part of our FOI practice, we have looked into how COMELEC conducted the bid evaluation and post-qualification of the single calculated bidder, the Korean firm Miro Systems, in joint venture with 3 Philippine entities. After going through hundreds of pages of documents and interviewing past and present COMELEC officials and other relevant sources, the why, how, and who brought the 4 entities together remains a mystery. Yet, on October 3, it was publicly announced that the St. Timothy Construction Corporation withdrew from the joint venture, which won the 18 billion fast-track contract for the May 2025 national and local elections. On October 5, the Right to Know Right Now Coalition issued a statement, released a statement on this, and we are releasing another statement this afternoon. We would like to cover several discussion points. The critical importance of public access to information for safeguarding electoral integrity. 2, the detailed roles and financial responsibilities of the remaining partners in the joint venture agreement. And 3, the potential ramifications of the partners' withdrawal on the automated election system and compliance with the public accountability standards. We would like to stress that as an independent and non-partisan coalition, we have very deliberately avoided any contact with any other political initiatives related to the elections. So we have no interaction, no communication, nothing to do at all with other initiatives that might be ongoing at the moment related to the elections. So yun lang po. Mamaya, when we open the floor for the question and answer, we would like to ask our friends from the media to please identify yourselves before asking your questions. This goes for those who are online. We will give you the screen and we'll ask you to we'll give you time to ask your questions. But for now, we have one of our co-conveners, a multi-awarded investigative journalist, an ancient, a veteran in the field, Ms. Malu Mangahas.
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat, mga kapuso, kapamilya, kakosa. So may storya tayo na pwedeng gawin ngayon. But this is something so different kasi it stretches the issues of the Miro JV contract. Basahin ko yung highlights ng statement for the record, okay? So this is a statement of the Right to Know Right Now Coalition. And this has been sent to our member organizations and now to you. We are voters, we are citizens. We have a common cause. Free, fair, honest, credible, transparent, and inclusive elections in May 2025. Yet also, we all have an inalienable right to access information on matters of public concern by the text and spirit of the 1987 Constitution. Ito po yung dahilan bakit yung Right to Know Right Now Coalition nagpadala ng demand letter sa Miro Systems Company Limited and its remaining Philippine partners for the full and prompt public disclosure of information, data, documents, and documentation on the status, changes, and updates on its joint venture agreement following the withdrawal of St. Timothy Construction Corporation. At the same time, we also sent the Commission on Elections an omnibus Freedom of Information request for the same set of data in similar public disclosure mode. Ibig sabihin, ilabas lahat ang mga detalye kung ano ang pangyayari at nagaganap ngayon sa kontrata. In particular, we listed 9 sets of documents and information that we need. 1. the specific roles and responsibilities of each remaining partner in the partnership, meaning Miro Systems Company Limited, Integrated Computer Systems, and Centerpoint Solutions and Technologies. The updated documentation showing the financial capacity of the remaining partners. This is so important because St. Timothy actually submitted the net financial contracting capacity, and by the joint venture agreement, it says it has actually the largest financial capacity to get into the contract, which is worth 17.9 billion pesos in all. Number 3, a detailed breakdown of the ownership structure of the remaining partners. Number 4, a clear statement on how the liabilities initially borne by STCC will be redistributed among the remaining partners. Sino sasalo nung financing na parang ngayon nakatenga sa ere, lalo na't umalis na ang St. Timothy. Then, revised project timelines and milestones. As we all know, there are several milestones, about 10, na lumalarga na ngayon sa kontrata na to, and funds had been disbursed. A big part of the 17.9 billion pesos at malapit na mag-print ng balota. Next, provisions for dispute resolution. Paano kung may umalis na naman? O paano kung mayroong hindi pagkakasunduan na mangyayari? Next, detailed provisions demonstrating full compliance with the Government Procurement Reform Act. This is so important because the law says that in joint venture for projects with government, dapat 60% ang Filipino ownership, 40% ang foreign partner. Naibaba o masusunod pa ba itong standard na to? Next, ito yung hinihingi daw ng COMELEC, proof of performance guarantees or committed line of credit to cover the financing required of the Miro JV. By the way, this was contained in a resolution issued by the COMELEC on October 4. By our count, of course, excluding the holiday yesterday yata sa Manila, today ang 10th day. So we should be requiring the COMELEC to give us kung nag-submit ba ng letter of credit, sino ang naging guarantor, paano nakuha. And finally, contingency plans in case any of the remaining partners fails to fulfill their obligations. Ang kontrata po with COMELEC ng Fast Track dapat magtatapos December 2025. It's a lease contract pero with fixed deadlines for every milestone na dapat ibigay. Ang Miro ICS, STCC, CPSTI, yung pangalan nila, joint venture agreement is a public contract that went through a competitive bidding process, covering the implementation of what we call now the Fast Track project of the COMELEC. It is a contract that involves a huge sum of taxpayers' money, or 17.9 billion in all. There are gaps in data now about the status of the JV, and therefore possibly gaps in trust, and therefore possibly reputational damage kung ano ba talaga ang sitwasyon sa kontrata. A key player with the largest financial capacity, STCC, has made an already problematic situation more dire. With its departures, questions and doubts have surfaced about whether the remaining partners have the financial and operational capacity to execute the contract. Ito po yung gusto naming malaman. Who is now responsible for fulfilling STCC's financial commitments? What roles and liabilities have shifted among the remaining partners? How will the changes affect the ability of the JV to deliver the fast track system on time and according to contract standards? Does the JV still comply with the nationality requirement? Ang COMELEC dapat habulin pa rin ang STCC for any outstanding liabilities related to the contract. And STCC must publicly explain how it plans to meet its obligations despite its withdrawal. Ibig sabihin, okay na lang ba yun? Basta ganun na lang. Meron nang na-issueng pondo, nagkahatian na ba? Okay, and then medyo ang tingin namin, addressing the conflicts of interest like this is critical to maintaining the integrity of the electoral process. Pero hindi siya simpleng conflict of interest ayon sa COMELEC. Kasi broader public accountability concerns ang gusto naming harapin pareho ng COMELEC at ng joint venture. Ang dahilan namin, sa tingin namin, is mataas dapat ang pamantayan for public contracts na ganito, kalaki at kahalaga. When a private entity enters into a contract with the government, especially for a project as critical as the automated election system, it voluntarily submits to a higher standard of accountability compared with that of purely private companies. Ang tingin namin, the private party should comply with public laws beyond mere commercial obligations. Okay? Kaya ang silip namin, the procurement law sets strict standards for public contracts to guarantee na hindi malulustay ang pera ng bayan at poprotektahan ang mga mamamayan. Okay? So, ang private party na to, yung Miro JV, by bidding for and entering into a public contract, takes on the responsibility to uphold these standards. Dapat accountable, dapat transparent. Hindi lang para sa COMELEC, but para sa lahat ng botante at mamamayan na ang pinaka dapat pagsilbihan ng mga ganitong kontrata. Ito po yung isa naming pahayag, kaya bakit yung dalawa ang aming tinutugis o sinesentruhan. Ang Bill of Rights sa 1987 Constitution primarily directs its guarantees toward protecting individuals from actions by the states. But in public contracts like this, it is our firm position that the right to information enshrined in Article 3, Section 7 must extend to private entities. Okay, in this particular case of the Miro JV, the private party does not merely provide ancillary services. Kumbaga, ipinasa ng COMELEC yung kanyang responsibilidad sa konstitusyon sa Miro JV. Even more important, governmental role ito na ang apektado na posibleng injured party, 68 million registered voters na boboto at sana mabilang ng maayos ang boto, and tens of thousands of candidates who would win or take over, if they win, over 18,000 elective positions at stake in May 2025. Truth be told, we believe the Miro JV partners are obliged under the contract with COMELEC to act on behalf of the state. Dapat clean, honest, fair, transparent, and inclusive elections ang i-deliver nila. Dapat ang COMELEC at ang Miro JV maging bukas, full disclosure sa lahat ng detalyeng ito para kung ano man ang mangyari, alam ng taong bayan. Kung saan sasablay, sino may dahilan ng pagsablay, at bakit dapat alam natin bago tayo bumoto para kung talaga magiging tapat ang halalan. Yun po ang aming statement, at kung meron kayong questions, andito po si Attorney Nepo Malaluan, yung aming lawyer at co-convener din, para paliwanag yung posisyon ng Right to Know Coalition. Meron ho kaming mga materyales kung sino gusto mag-request para sa inyong reports, yung aming listahan ng ano yung naganap nung pinadala namin yung mga demand letter sa Miro. Ang kakaiba dito, yung sinabing address ng Miro Joint Venture sa Dasmariñas Street, sa Nicolas. Walang tumanggap, wala na daw ganong opisina. Yung address ng Centerpoint Solutions na doon sa lugar na yun, wala na daw no ganon na tao. Tinanggap, however, ng Integrated Computer Systems yung aming demand letter at ng St. Timothy Construction Corporation. Sinulatan din namin ng COMELEC and bank at pati ang Project Management Office ng COMELEC, and through the PMO, the Project Management Support Staff na nakalista na kinatawan ng JV. We're waiting for their reply. Okay. Meron din kaming mga reports na parang baka makatulong. Yung net financial contracting capacity na sinabit ng St. Timothy, yung single largest completed contract na sinabit ng Miro. These are all very important now kasi ibig sabihin, ang St. Timothy halimbawa, ang net financial contracting capacity na nilista, which means the sum of all contracts ongoing and awarded times a certain number, a certain factor, 41.09 billion pesos. So ang sabi ng COMELEC, at least 10% ito dapat ipakita or nung kontrata nung letter of credit. Okay? Pero sa totoo lang pobre yung Centerpoint Solutions and Technologies. At yung integrated computer systems, although medyo mas may financial capacity, hindi aabot sa ganitong NFCC. Kaya duda kami. Saan manggagaling yung letter of credit? Sino ang magiging guarantor? Okay, at meron din kaming iba pang mga papeles kung gusto ninyo. The DPWH has certified to us that St. Timothy, St. Gerard, St. Matthews, and Alpha and Omega are all affiliate companies owned by the members of the Diskaya family. Okay, so kumuha din kami ng certification from PICAB, Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board. Meron din kami dito yung schedule of deliveries, milestones ng kontrata, at kung gusto ninyo, yung kopya ng joint venture agreement. Okay? Salamat. Pero on request yun
Yes, okay. We will make them available to you in soft copy. So we'll para mas madali yung ma-share also to others. For those joining us online, we have posted the statement, the demand letter, and the FOI request on the comment section of the Zoom. So siguro at this point, I'll just open na lang the floor for questions. We have our co-conveners here who will answer them. And si attorney. Okay, sige. And then we can have a free discussion. Anybody? Yes, please.
Magandang hapon po. Mark Salazar po sa GMA Integrated News. Ano para ma-appreciate po ng mga nanonood sa news na hindi naman talaga naintindihan lahat itong mga kontrata, ano ang pwedeng maging epekto sa integridad ng eleksyon, sa outcome niya, sa fairness niya, kung halimbawa hindi masagot or halimbawa may question nga doon sa kapasidad ng mga natira sa joint venture, ano yung direktang epekto sa conduct ng election na pwedeng maglagay sa alanganin ng resulta at boto nila?
Magandang hapon. Una, sa kabuuan ay nakikita namin na nanganganib yung integridad ng halalan sa 2025 election dahil napakasela nitong proyekto na sinusuportahan itong o kung saan nakasalalay ang kontrata ng joint venture ng Miru. Hindi ito maliit na kontrata. Ang kontratang ito ay doon sa kalakhan ng tungkulin ng COMELEC dito sa darating na halalan. Una, yung pag-cast natin ng ating balota ay saklaw ng kontratang ito. Ang pagbilang ng ating mga boto ay saklaw ng kontratang ito. At ang pag-canvas ng ating boto sa halalan ay saklaw ng kontratang ito. May binanggit si Ms. Malu kanina na may milestones itong kontratang ito. Lahat ng milestones niyan ay magkakadikit. Yung pag-imprenta ng balota, pag-deliver noong counting machines, yung programa na magbibilang ng ating mga boto at mag-transmit ng ating mga boto para malaman kung sinong mga nanalo, lahat yan ay saklaw ng kontratang ito. At ang umalis sa joint venture ay hindi isang maliit na partner nitong joint venture. Sa katunayan, ang umalis na partner ng joint venture, ang nagrepresenta na siya ang may kakayahan na pagmula ng pagpipinansya ng proyektong ito. Siya ang nag-submit ng Net Financial Contracting Capacity o NFCC na isang requirement sa bidding. In other words, it is the corporate entity that guaranteed the financial capacity of this joint venture to finance this contract. And it left the joint venture. Kaya kung hindi tayo maaring magkampante ngayon na nawala yung isang malaking partido sa joint venture, ay kaya pa rin gampanan nitong naiwan na tatlong kumpanya. Kung kaya man niyang gampanan, napakalaki ng mga katanungan natin at yun ang aming hinihingi sa joint venture ng Miro. Ang kaibahan dito sa aming demand sa Miro JV ay kung dati ay ang ating kinakalampag ay ang COMELEC, sa tingin natin sa isang kontrata na ganito ang kalaki ng implikasyon to a very fundamental democratic exercise which is elections. Kami tayo ng mga mamamayan ay may direktang karapatan na mismong humingi sa joint venture hindi lamang through COMELEC nitong mga dokumento at impormasyon na ito, because we need to be assured that the 2025 election can proceed as they contracted it to proceed. And there is now a major question. Bagamat tayo ay ang ating tinitingnan ay yung filing of candidacy, sinong mga tatakbo, at kailan ang eleksyon. Pag bumoto po tayo, saklaw na yon ng kontratang ito. Yung balota natin, yung paano bibilangin ang counting machine, ang programa na magta-transmit nito, magka-canvas nito, are all part of this comprehensive automated election system. Ang problema nito, pag pumalpak po itong isang bahagi nitong kontratang ito dun sa isa sa mga milestones, kaya nga po yan ay in-outsource ng COMELEC dahil wala siyang internal na kapasidad na gawin itong automated election of itself. In other words, pagka nabulilyaso itong performance nila ng kontratang ito, mabubililyaso ang ang isang mahalagang aspeto nitong ating election sa 2025. In other words, we feel and we believe that the COMELEC cannot parang diminish or maliitin yung implikasyon nitong pag-alis ng STCC. Only the disclosure of the information that we demanded can give us some level of assurance and faith and comfort na ang halalan sa 2025 ay magaganap as scheduled with the under the automated election framework.
Ma'am, follow-up isa lang.
Ikikwik ko lang, pag nakita ninyo yung milestones 1 to 15, September 15 to 30, dapat nakapag-deliver na ng 30,000 automated counting machines, cases, adapters, etc., batteries. By October 15 to 31, dapat nakapag-delivery na ng ballot verification requirements, automated counting machines ulit, smart cards base, etc. So maraming deliverables. Actually, ang ating isang problema is walang sumisilip nung paano yung performance ng kontrata. Pero katulad ng sinabi ni Attorney Nepo, para siyang domino effect. Maputol yung isa o ma-delay yung isa, hindi susunod yung susunod na milestones. And by the way, this contract has 15 milestones. Ang last nilang step dapat October 1 to 15, 2025. Hanggang sa matapos yung buong kontrata na December 2025. Now imagine, the biggest player in the joint venture biglang kumalas. Sino ngayon ang magkakaroon ng guarantee na madedeliver itong mga bagay na to? Medyo malaki at mahaba yung deliverables. Itong October, November, December. Okay? So, I think dapat bantayan ito. That's why we're telling COMELEC, give everything out, put everything out there. And for the Miro JV, talk to us. Where are you? Hindi nga namin makita kung nasan sila eh. Dahil yung opisina, ang sabi, wala daw dun yung Miro. But are we talking to a phantom joint venture here? O kunya-kunyari lang ba na nagkaroon ng joint venture kaya ang St. Timothy could manage to pull out just like that?
Thank you.
Sure,
Yeah, go ahead.
mabilis na follow-up lang. Dun po sa milestone, sa 15, alin po yung pinaka-costly doon and its importance na posibleng ito talagang tamaan pag kung halimbawa yung STCC ay nag-pull out na supposedly siya maraming perang ambag.
Well, hindi naka-detail dito, pero we're thinking it's the machines and the servers.
That's everything, ma'am.
And the program, that's everything.
Pinagtilad ang delivery, pero apart from the machines, kasi may ancillary items. Battery, adapter, cord, storage device. Tapos yung training ng mga personnel. Tapos alam nyo, recently nag-sign up sila with National Printing Office for the printing of the ballots. Di ba parang iba-iba yung balota natin. Depende sa district mo, sa probinsya mo, etc. So, kung yung mga ballot paper at mga kung ano naman pa, ballot boxes, hindi dumating, medyo mahirap din yung delivery. Which means, talagang may cascade effect. So, kung yung financing nito ay hindi magagaranti, remember, sa kontrata nila with the COMELEC, ang payment is on delivery. After delivery, 30 to 60-day notice. So, ibig sabihin, yung i-deliver dapat na October, November, December pa pwedeng bayaran. Okay? So, tingnan niyo yung kontrata if you had time, kasi doon yung critical portions na kung bakit sinasabi naming may potential delay, at yung mga sikreto, tigilan na. Ilabas lahat sa bayan. At ang Miro JV ay humarap. Do you even know who they are? Have you talked to any one of them? I think the Vice President had an interview with GMA pero on Zoom many, many months ago. But otherwise, we have not heard a word from them exactly. Yung project manager, sabi ng COMELEC PMO, ibang tao na dun sa pumirma sa JVA.
May I add? May isa pang kaming gustong ilantad na issue dito. Kasi kahit assuming na may kakayahan, halimbawa, makita na yung mga milestones ay on schedule. Yung pagkawala nung isa sa partner, hindi lamang naman ito ma-deliver for delivery sake dahil may requirements yung ating batas at ang isa dyan sa requirement ay yung 60-40 distribution of interest. 60% must be for the account of Filipino entities or Filipino nationals, and the 40% ang maximum that a foreign entity can take. Eh kung yun pala walang kapasidad itong naiwan na dalawa, ang naiwan ang magpopondo at magpe-finance nitong kontratang ito ay nag-iisang Miro, ay in other words, meron tayong kontrata na lumalabag sa batas.
Nasa kontrata yung progress payment after delivery and acceptance of all deliverables per milestone.
So do we have other questions? Sa online?
Hello.
I don't see. Yes.
Ma'am Glenn Wego sa DCWB. Ma'am, reaction lang dito kasi sa recent interview namin. Ito lang yung sinabi ni COMELEC Chairman Garcia. Sabi niya, wala itong epekto. Tapos ang sinabi niya na as long as meron naman daw commitment doon po sa dalawa, yes, meron naman daw, bakit daw kailangan mabahala? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sige.
Ito po ang mayroon pong material na pagkakaiba sa sitwasyon. Dahil kung ganyan ang pagtrato dito sa seriousness of the situation, pwede pong sabihin na, oy, wag kayong mabahala, may tatlong, yun po ang commitment doon sa una. Sa joint venture, may tatlong member, may kakayahan itong mag-finance. Dahil yung STCC ay nagbigay ng financing. So, ngayon na wala yung STCC, kung sabihin man ni Chair na wag tayong mabahala, ay gusto nating makita yung patunay niya na kaya lamang yang sa amin at sa atin na ma-establish kung mapakita talaga yung change arrangements and conditions, who will now be responsible for what, At yun yung nilalaman ng aming 9 or 8, 9 classes of documents that we ask. And we believe the COMELEC is under a public obligation to, in fact, join us in demanding this information from its joint venture partner.
Kumbaga, it's not a simple substitution of the financing because you have the 60-40 regulation that you will have to abide by as well. We have TJ Borgonio of PCIJ raising his hand. TJ?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, good afternoon po. Just wanted to know, as we speak today is October 15, no? What have they delivered so far as of today?
Have they delivered so far?
As of today, well,
Okay.
dapat by September, October, tinitingnan ko.
As per the contract, the list of deliverables, marami na ha. As in marami na. So naka 5 milestones na dapat sila by September 30. Kasi October 15 to 31 naman yung milestone 6. So pwede natin silang pagbigyan doon. But the first milestone, base source code, etc. TJ, you can ask for a copy of this. Ha? Tapos mga the machines, mostly machines. But they are partials. Partial. Tapos 20,000 ballot boxes. This was milestone 4. And may dito sa milestone 5 may demonstration ballots na. May pre-lot supplies, etc. And additional 30,000 ballot boxes, smart cards, USB storage, smart card writers, etc. So these are you know how you participated in the automated election. Ito lahat yung nagpapatakbo ng ating election. We have not verified whether these have been fully delivered and accepted. And as you know, it was according to the resolution ng COMELEC, St. Timothy withdrew on September 27. So that was before the deadline of the 5th milestone.
Sorry. Siguro ang isang
Oh my
way,
God.
dagdag lang, ang isang pamamaraan na pag-imagine itong mga deliverables na ito, aside from the specifics, is these are 18 billion pesos worth of goods and services that must be delivered over the course of this contract under specific milestones. And these are deliverables of both goods and services that are in effect stackable. The next, in other words, they are interdependent. Itong mga, at marami dito ay hindi replaceable, nor is the COMELEC of itself able to take over, for example, that contract and provide such gaps that may happen.
Teka, can I refer you? Kasi naggawa kami ng 4-part report noong June precisely to look at yung post-procurement audit ng kontrata, including yung problematic talaga ang St. Timothy because of so many contracts with slippages na super laki. Okay, ibig sabihin yung hindi na kompleto. Anyway, meron kaming sa portion ng part 2, we precisely said na by then, yung 60-40, ano ba ibig sabihin nun sa 17.9 billion? Yung Philippine partners altogether should raise up to 10.8 billion pesos. Yun yung 60. And Miru, 7 billion pesos to implement it. Okay? By April 30, 2024, nagkapirmahan ng Marso ng kontrata. The COMELEC has already paid the Miru JV about 2.7 billion or 15% of the contract price as mobilization fund, quote-unquote. And then, by April 30, Miru JV had filed a claim for payment of another 5% or 900 million for milestone 2 requirements. So this is June. July, August, September, and now October. So nasa milestone 5 tayo. But under the contract with the COMELEC, ang sabi, no payment, partial or final, shall be made except upon a certificate of acceptance by the COMELEC chairman or his designated representative that the goods and services have been inspected and accepted in accordance with this contract. The contract with the COMELEC says progress payment is the standard, which means payments shall be made not more than 30 working days after the complete submission of these documents. So ang sinasabi ko kanina, yung September 15 to 30 na deliverables, malamang mababayaran October end pa. Okay? Kalagitnaan yun ng pag-pull out. Now, what happens to the next milestone na mas marami pang dapat i-deliver? Okay? So yung ganong capacity ang aming sinisilip. Kasi nga, hindi pwedeng walang epekto. Hindi siya simpleng mag-present ka ng committed letter of credit and everything will be all right. Kasi by now, they should be so busy complying with the milestone requirements or putting up money to cover the next milestone requirements. Okay? Tama ba yan?
Just quickly. So dun sa, siguro one of the summary ay dun sa tanong na nabanggit ni Chair Garcia na huwag kayong mabahala. Ang sagot po namin dun ay lubha kaming nababahala. At ang makapapawi lamang ng aming pagkabahala ay ang paglalabas nitong mahalagang mga impormasyon na hinihingi namin hindi lamang sa COMELEC kung hindi direkta dito sa joint venture na Miro JV.
There is? Okay. Sige, and then there's one question online. Can you... No. Wala. TJ, are you? Your hand is still raised. Do you still have a question?
Yes, ma'am, I just have a follow-up question. So, it's not like we're imposing an ultimatum, but we just wanted to know until what time are we giving JV Miro or COMELEC to disclose the financial capability of the company? And in the absence of such disclosure, what will be our options?
Sige, yun yung lang first part of the question. We're following the FOI rules, so 15 working days. So from October 9, we counted until October 31 or October 30-31. So yun yung for both the JV partners and COMELEC to disclose the information. On the second point,
Walang direktang rules precisely ngayon with respect to directly obliging under a right to information law the private party to make a direct disclosure. But we argue, and it is our position, that the right to information, kagaya ng pinaliwanag ni Ms. Malu kanina, in such a crucial contract such as this, it's such a crucial governmental function that has been assigned to a private party, I must apply. And after that 15 working days, we will be exhausting all our possible remedies, including judicial remedies if necessary.
yes, please.
All right, thank you.
Maraming salamat to. Ronnie Ramos from Radyo Abante, DWAR. Did we try to invite, kasi right to know right now, di ba, para at least masagot lahat yung mga tanong natin. Did we try to at least invite the chairman of the Commission on Elections para nang sa ganun kasama natin siya, matanong natin? Because there are questions that we cannot answer, di ba? Kagaya ng tanong kanina na ilan na ba yung na-deliver. We're just relying on what is in the contract. We don't even know kung meron bang isang parte ng kontrata ang natupad na. Diba? And with this forum, what are we up to? Kasi inilalagay ko yung sarili ko doon sa sapatos ng mga botante. Parang hindi nakakatulong sa akin. Parang natatakot ako. Ano na nga bang mangyayari? So, are we here to express kung ano talaga yung dapat mangyari or para matakot yung ating mga kababayan in relation to this? Kasi kung meron tayong mga hinihingi na mga bagay, pwede naman siguro natin itong pag-usapan ng hindi muna natin ipagbubuyang-yangan sa media para hindi matakot yung mga tao. Then, kung ano ba yung mga sagot, saka tayo gumawa ng hakbang. Parang ganun.
Okay, sige.
Isahin ko na po ha. Isahin ko na po. And likewise, pagka hindi ho nasagot itong mga hinihingi natin, hindi nila naibigay, anong hakbang ang gagawin natin and what do you think may happen?
Okay, sige. Wait
Salamat
lang
po.
si Malu.
Hindi namin inimbita yung COMELEC kasi may letter na nga kaming ipinadala na FOI. So pending yung action nila in the next 15 days. But before that, actually, when we produce our report, yung procurement contract, and we said so in the reports, we actually told the COMELEC kung ano yung findings. Sana nga parang meron ng notice na problematiko talaga yung project. Medyo kulang yata talaga yung due diligence ninyong ginawa. Maraming slippages so ang St. Timothy. Hindi ho sapat yung pera ng dalawang natitirang partner, etc. Yung joint venture agreement to napaka-generic. Walang definition of roles. Walang clarity magkano yung financial contribution ng bawat partner. Pero may sabi, they will distribute profit according to amounts raised. Now, I think ang problema natin dito is, yung COMELEC everyday naman nagpapaliwanag. Ang tansya ko nga, parang ang problema natin, puro COMELEC yung nagpapaliwanag. I think dapat may demand din tayo na yung Miro humarap. Kasi napakahalagang kontrata nito. Kailangan bang matakot yung mga mamamayan natin? Palagay ko hindi. Mas nakakatakot kung bigla na lang makita natin na sumabog o nawala talaga yung proyekto. So parang kumbaga, again, fair warning ito at hinihimok namin na pakialaman natin. Kasi boto natin yung nakataya dito, yung integridad, ng halalan, kung gaano ka-open, credible, transparent yan, at kung sakali man, pati democratic institutions natin. Imagine mo pag hindi natuloy, ano yung option? So yun yung mga parang scenarios na hindi nakakatakot kung merong paghahanda. Bukod sa impormasyon na dapat ibigay sa atin, both COMELEC at ng Miro JV. Kasi parang nagtatago ba sa palda ng COMELEC ang Miro JV? Pag tinanong natin, ano yung deliverables? Kasi hindi naman din natin pang sinisilip bilang mga reporters, di ba? Na-deliver ba? Puro, well, ang recent weeks, filing of certificates of candidacy. Pero, tumatakbo yung kontrata. At sana nakaayon sa mga deadlines, nakaayon sa quality nung dapat i-deliver, at malinaw, sino magpopondo. Hindi naman pwedeng hindi natin alam kung saan galing yung pondo at paano popondohan. Sagot.
Is that okay for now?
Yung next question mo, what will you do kung hindi ibigay?
Any legal...
Una, yung sa agam-agam ay talagang may, bilang botante ay may agam-agam kabe. Dahil nga, maraming hindi malinaw. Nabanggit ni Ms. Maluna, actually itong puna namin sa joint venture agreement nila, ay nung naroon pa yung St. Timothy ay pinaabot na namin na lagyan iyan ng detalye precisely for like eventualities like this. At nangyari nga na umalis yung St. Timothy. With respect to your question, kagaya ng binanggit ko kanina, ay sa aming matibay na paniniwala ay sa mga kontratang kagaya nito, kasing sela na kagaya nito, na napapaloob sa isang pangpamahalaan na tungkulin, kagaya sa eleksyon, ay yung ating karapatan sa Bill of Rights, our right to information on matters of public concern, guaranteed by Section 7 of Article 3 of the 1987 Constitution, ay hindi lamang patungkol sa government, kung hindi doon din sa pribadong korporasyon na siya ang undertook the responsibility of stepping into the shoes of the government in performing an essentially governmental function. So, yan po ay sa tingin natin ay kung hindi tutugunan ng Miro JV itong ating demand letter sa kanila, we are prepared to exhaust our remedies, including a judicial remedy.
Follow-up lang, sir. Last na. Sandali, bigla nawala. So halimbawa ho at sinagot lahat na nag-submit na sila ng mga hinihingi po natin ng mga informations, both the COMELEC and the joint ventures, Miro at the other two Filipino entities. What comes next?
Well, una ay dun sa nabanggit kanina na yun ang pahayag ni Chair Garcia na wag tayong mabahala ay kung maibibigay at maayos yung mga impormasyon na maibigay. Nalinaw kung paano tutustusan ito, malinaw na it will still be compliant with the 60-40 requirement, very clear na may capacity sila to undertake the contract, then maiibsan yung ating pangamba kung maibibigay ang impormasyon na ito. At kahit naman po dati, nung hindi pa nangyayari ito, sinasabi na namin na ang ating tungkulin ay bantayan yung performance nitong contract na ito. So magpapatuloy po yun. Aming babantayan ang mga milestones na binanggit kung yan ay maisa sa katuparan. Ang ultimate interest po natin dito ay matuloy ang isang free, fair, transparent, and accountable election in 2025 bilang mga mamamayan na boboto sa kasama ng 68 million other Filipinos that will exercise our right to vote in May of 2025.
Okay, thank you.
Maraming salamat. There is a question from Ben Arnold de Vera on sa Zoom. Intermittent lang daw ang internet niya. Since there is a change in the contractors or joint venture partners of Miro for the 2025 election, would this mean that the bidding or procurement that happened at the start of this year is not only irregular but also void? Should the COMELEC declare a failure of bidding? Should the contract also be rescinded as the financial capacity of the Miro JV is now questionable since the financier backed out? And would it also redound to Miro as a breach of its earlier commitments for the contract? Thank you. Yeah.
Tama po yung katanungan na yon. Dalawa yung ang legal na question dito. Ang isa ay yung aming advokasya at we have taken up that aspect of the question, what happens to the responsibilities, operational and financial under the contract on the presumption of regularity based on the position taken by COMELEC that the remaining partners under principle of their joint and solidary liability are still obliged to perform the contract as originally committed. But you are correct that there is another complex issue, which is in a publicly bidded contract like this, does the withdrawal of one JV partner possibly affect the continuing validity of the contract? Hindi po namin sinasagot yung usaping yon, but we acknowledge that that is one other issue that is something that the COMELEC will be facing in the next few days. I'm sure there will be other parties that ang tunguhin ay doon naman sa usaping yon. But insofar as the right to know, right now coalition is concerned, ang aming interest ngayon ay yung malaman kung ano na ang nangyayari dito sa kontratang ito at sa mga contracting parties as a result of the withdrawal of STCC.
Meron lang akong gustong itanong. This came from a member who's watching via the FB live stream. Sino daw ang nagbayad ng Presscon? Kung Smartmatic Presscon daw ba ito?
Hindi po. Actually, kaya from the beginning of the research dito sa Miro project, we precisely avoided any apparent or perceived connections with any of the politicians or any of the parties filing suit with the Supreme Court. Kaya meron kaming disclosure even nung lumabas yung report na we don't have anything to do with them. We neither approached them, they neither contacted us. We didn't want the report to be viewed with a sense na partisan political project. Kasi they're free anyway to do whatever they... Ulit? Okay. Ikaw naman, replay po. Take 2. Okay. Ang amin pong presscon na to at ang reports na ginawa namin about the Miro JV project, non-partisan projects. Okay? We precisely avoided any contact, any conversation with any politicians or any of the Smartmatic lawyers when we did this report noong June, and when we are doing now the press conference and the legal inquiry into the status of the contracts. I don't think they will approach us kasi iba yung gusto nila, di ba? Kontrata yung gusto nila, kami hindi. Impormasyon ang gusto namin.
Ang Right to Know Right Now Coalition po, kaya sa coalition ay binubuo siya ng iba't ibang organisasyon. May kasama dyan ang may government labor, may private labor, may church, may CSOs, may business groups, may media. Malaki pong coalition ito, and we are able to sustain our own activities. Hindi lang po ngayon ang Right to Know Right Now Coalition ay kumakaharap sa pampublikong issue. Kami po ay simula pa 2002 ay we are already doing our public advocacy for the passage of the Freedom of Information Act, which for the longest time Congress has denied us the right and privilege of having that legislation. And so it is the same thing that animates this coalition. We are not connected at all with any party involved in this contract and other parties that are interested in this contract. Our interest is as citizens, as advocates of freedom of information, as advocates of the exercise of the right to information, and as electorates that will be participating in the 2025 national and local elections.
Meron pa po tayong questions? Yes. Can we get kung sino? Sa Facebook, marami daw. Similar questions during the live stream. Yes, please.
Hello po. Hello po. Good afternoon po. Dwight De Leon from Rappler. Even before St. Timothy's withdrawal, you've been looking nga po into the joint venture, and you've said kanina na hindi rin malinaw, for example, paano nabuo yung joint venture despite your numerous interviews and yung pag-aaral nyo dun sa mga dokumento. How is the level of frustration from your end when it comes to communicating with the COMELEC first and the joint venture second? Yung question po, may deliberate effort ba from them to not be transparent? And sige, yun po muna po.
Siyempre frustrating at saka nakakapagod kasi we had to review hundreds and hundreds of records and documents. So ang parang first set namin kasi the coalition wanted to look at the beneficial owners. Kumbaga kung ito'y kontrata nga, dapat yung mga president, vice president, yung mga beneficial owners at major stakeholders. Because those data had not come out from the COMELEC. Diba sinabi lang Miro, ICS, STCC. So we think na parang mahalaga yun ilabas. we looked at the financial records of these companies. Kasi nga may mga kontrata na binigay sila sa COMELEC at na joint venture agreement. We put out in the story na ang COMELEC nagbigay sa amin ng mga dokumento. Siguro dahil sa kakakulit namin, nagbigay sila ng access. But of course, the documents are just parang level 1 eh. You need to do relational analysis or interviews or even correlation of more documents. So we went to the SEC for more documents. We asked people from the procurement service of the DBM and the Government Procurement Policy Board kung ano yung appropriate dahil nga yung joint venture agreement napaka-generic. We went to the DPWH to check on St. Timothy. Kasi isa sa requirement ng COMELEC noon is dapat walang 10% or higher na slippage. And we were doubtful na talagang yun yung net financial contracting capacity ng St. Timothy because they enrolled projects as far back as 2018. If you're aware of yung DPWH rules, di ba, merong project duration standard per project type, which means delayed yung karamihan ng project na in-enroll nila. When the DPWH responded to us, we saw more projects with slippages above 10% and up to 60% for St. Timothy. We saw the affiliate companies of St. Timothy, yung tatlo pa. Frustrating siya in the sense na parang tipong mahirap gawin, pero I think ito yung, kaya tiningnan kasi namin dito yung procurement process kung nasunod, especially for a contract this big, and especially to look at also the gaps or the lack of due diligence na apparent on the part of the COMELEC. And we told them. So, and we showed them the report after we've done it, and we've sought their comments. Some COMELEC officials are talking in the story because we precisely sought them out. Parang, ano nangyari dito? Bakit ganun? Parang kulang-kulang yung inyong review. However, it's only not COMELEC that actually suffered or parang that seems to be in jeopardy doon sa lack of due process or due diligence. I'm sorry, pero pati DPWH hindi sila binigyan. Kasi if you're familiar with contracts in the contracting system, di ba? When a contractor hits a slippage of below 10% or higher, dapat i-blacklist yan. Kaso, pag na-blacklist siya, the engineering districts will also be in penalty row. Kasi trabaho niya yon na dapat walang black. So, we were sensing, as with previous stories we've done before sa PCIJ, parang may conspiracy of silence na hindi nila i-report na may slippage kasi trouble din sila, yung engineer. Anyway, so parang ganun yung frustrating. Ang dami mong madidiscover na kakaiba.
But just to note na in our access to information requests to the COMELEC, they have been very responsive to our request for information. In fact, that has allowed us to conduct this study. The procurement documents were furnished us that allowed us to review. May kaibahan lamang itong usapin ng joint venture agreement dahil ito ay impormasyon na hindi rin immediately hawak ng COMELEC, but it is in the hands of the joint venture itself. But we pointed out that to the COMELEC in our comments na isa sa recommendation namin nung hindi pa lumalabas itong withdrawal of STCC na to require the joint venture to furnish the COMELEC with supplemental information to the very bare joint venture agreement originally provided. So this is a continuation of that recommendation. And now that it does not appear that the COMELEC has acted on our previous recommendation, we feel that it is now right for us to directly demand from MIRU itself where our public agency is unable to provide that obligation to secure this information and disclose it to the public, we see that we have no other recourse but to also directly ask it from the private party.
Do you think it's high time po for Miru, for the joint venture to have its own spokesperson? Kasi 'di ba
Yes.
yung point of comparison lang natin was Smartmatic because they were the only other tech provider ng Pilipinas, and they had a spokesperson, I think, in past elections.
Not necessarily as a matter of comparison or whatever, but they have to, especially at this time, have an ability to speak and respond to questions directly to the public.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Dwight. Okay, kasi maraming medyo trolley questions or comments sa FB live, but I since naririnig din nila tayo, nakikita, I would like the co-conveners to respond to this. Marami pang something to the effect na marami pang mga public interest na dapat pagtuunan, flood control, pababain nyo ang presyo ng bilihin, magugulo lang ang preparation ng COMELEC, and parehas ang mga sinasabi nyo at ni Egay Irice, it seems scripted. I think we should respond to that.
Pareho sinasabi natin kay Congressman Irice.
And plus this being not an urgent public interest concern.
Sa tingin ko, yung urgent public interest nito is kasi freedom of information is the bedrock of all rights, okay? Freedom of information enables every right that we could think of we want to assert, okay? Right to life, right to education, right to health. Ang problema natin sa Pilipinas, meron tayong freedom of speech, walang freedom to know. Okay? Significantly, to know significantly. Yung mga potholes, yung mga baha, yung pagkain, yung 20 pesos na kilo ng bigas. Actually, matagal na naman yung napangako. At I don't think civil society organization should be held to account for parang ano yung status itong mga ganitong suliranin. It's not that we're being insensitive, but we're precisely saying na merong mga iba't ibang advokasya ang mga grupo at meron namang malinaw na tungkulin ang mga ahensya ng gobyerno. Yung point 2 ng parang problema natin dito is kasi lumalarga na po yung election process. Okay? Nag-file na ng COCs ang mga kandidato, ang gustong kumandidato, meron din hong parang sunod-sunod na timetable for delivery of the election paraphernalia. At sabi nga namin, pagka sumablay ito, milestone 5, 6, sablay yung 10 other milestones to go. Ang tingin ho namin, iba yung sinasabi ni dating Congressman Irice, kasi gusto niya yata parang balljacky na lang yung kontrata. Hindi po ganun ang gusto namin. Ang sinasabi namin, may concerns kami. Pero para magkalinawan, tapatin ninyo ang taong bayan, ano yung mga detalye. And then we will know precisely siguro which is the better path to take. We say void the contract, we say pursue more cases against the Miru JV or against the COMELEC, but first we have to know and we have to be better informed. And I think that the big challenge is yung sabi ni Dwight, siguro humarap yung Miru. We've not heard from them. But puro COMELEC ang, well, tungkulin ng COMELEC pero tungkulin din nila. Lalo't sila yung nagkawatak-watak. Diba? Lalo't sila yung dapat magpaliwanag, saan manggagaling ang pera nyo ngayon? Yun.
May related, well, different question naman, wala bang accountability ang COMELEC and the PWH or how to make them take responsibility?
Actually, noon pong aming sinumite, yung aming post-procurement review, ay malinaw sa amin na may mga lessons dito na forward-looking. Dahil may kakaharapin pa po tayo, hindi naman ngayon lang ang eleksyon, pati may 2028 din. At malamang ay yung 2028 ay ibibid din ang automated election system. And the level of standards of scrutiny of a public contract like this, we believe that there are important lessons for the COMELEC to take in succeeding contracts. This is not a small amount of contract. It is 18 billion, and it relates to, as I mentioned, a critical area of democratic exercise, which is election. So, hindi lang po sa punto ng who's accountable, it is also about ensuring that we get the service that we as citizens deserve.
Para lang malinaw, ano, yung pong demand letter namin addressed to individuals who were designated representatives and signatories of the joint venture agreement, namely Ms. Valerie Ann M. Manahan, Centerpoint Solutions and Technologies Incorporated, Ms. Opaline E. Paiton and/or Mr. Miguel Juntura, St. Timothy Construction Corporation, Mr. Hernani C. Lim, Integrated Computer Systems Incorporated, Mr. Yung Seo Lee and/or Mr. Jin Bok Chung, Miro Systems Company Limited. We also sent the demand letter to the following persons who are now representing the joint venture in what is called the Project Management Support Team, yung parallel po ng COMELEC Project Management Office. Namely, iba na ho mga pangalan, Mr. Angelo Nicolo Lim, Vice President and Treasurer of Centerpoint Solutions and Technologies Incorporated. He is also actually Secretary or Officer of an allied or affiliate company, yung Centerpoint Sales and Trading Incorporated, dealer ng mga common supplies items sa PSDBM, like ballpen, papel, etc. Mr. Hernani C. Lim remains the representative of ICS as Vice President for Business Development, and Mr. Cho Ken Song Ray, Project Manager of Miro Systems Company Limited. So you will see that these are actual persons who are assigned as the representatives or the official designees of the JV. The addresses we called for the distribution of the demand letters were from the contracts, were enrolled in their statements to the COMELEC, in their SEC records. So paano wala sila? Ba't hindi tinatanggap yung aming demand letter ng Miro Systems? Ganun po kabusisi yung ginawa namin kasi nga we wanted to give them fair shake. Sagutin nyo, lumabas kayo.
Do we have other questions? Okay. How about po dun sa mga online? Do we have questions? Okay, in that case, we will be ending this press conference. If you want to have copies of the documents that we mentioned, please just give your email addresses to either Nadine or Patrick, and they will be emailed to you or you will be given access to a public drive.
Kasama din sa baka gusto nyong basahin, kung may time pa kayo magbasa-basa. May Court of Tax Appeals, Special Second Division, CTA case number 10472, naming the four construction companies, St. Timothy, St. Gerard, St. Matthew, and Alpha and Omega, and Mr. Curly Discaya as respondents. Okay, so this was a ruling issued November 3, 2022. Tiningnan din po namin to. Kasi yung tax liabilities or yung tax situation ng mga affiliate companies. They were required to respond to the subpoena deus tecum of the BIR. Okay, so ganun nung kasinsin yung ginawa namin precisely to be very fair din dun sa mga partido. If you want copies of the papers we've listed, request lang po kayo, papadala nila Nadine by email.
Or they'll be given access to the drive. Yeah, to the program. Okay, so maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat and I hope you will give justice to the story. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.